Manager at the EU delegation to Ukraine, and now I'm looking in the right camera. Thanks for having me. Today I'm here to tell you how in 2020, in this crisis year, the EU made sure that Ukrainians knew it had not abandoned them during Corona. Thanks. So, I only started working on communications in August this year, but I was involved previously on coordinating EU COVID response in Ukraine, so I hope this will enrich my presentation for you. Let's go. Let's go? Yes. So a little bit of context. In early 2020, things were looking relatively okay, I would say, even more or less positive, despite the ongoing conflict in eastern Ukraine. But still, the EU-Ukraine Association Agreement had been signed already in 2014. It was fully in force since 2017, which had resulted in an unprecedented reform effort from the Ukrainian side, and which was backed by unprecedented EU support in terms of grants and loans, and also structures that were put in place for Ukraine, which the EU support group for Ukraine at the European Commission. As I said, unprecedented support with over 15 billion euros mobilized already last year, and now it's already over 16 billion euros. In terms of communicating Europe in Ukraine, our project of this very name was doing that since 2018. A consortium of professional communication agencies was implementing an integrated communication campaign under the motto "Moving Forward Together, Прямуємо разом", that was aiming at making the EU assistance to Ukraine a brand and communicating the key reform support areas of good governance and decentralization, economy and trade, culture, education and innovation, and also conflict response. It did so via a developed branding and visual identity, a media strategy, key messages, and a developed tone of voice. Now, in March, April, things began looking decisively much more volatile, with the new coronavirus spreading throughout Europe and lockdowns beginning. This had a big impact, a big negative impact on health systems, on the economies of the countries, and also on people's private lives. In order to help Ukraine, the EU mobilized an over 190 million euro support package for Ukraine already in April 2020 as part of its global Team Europe approach to fight the coronavirus pandemic globally. This package was focusing on providing support to the health system, but also to the economy and to social cohesion. Now, our task was to also make sure that the Ukrainians knew we had not abandoned them. And our research showed that by the beginning of the crisis, around a third of Ukrainians believed that the EU would not abandon them and would help them, but 33% did not know how it would do so. So our task was to send an emotional message of hope and support, but also underline it with specific and very concrete results and actions. This is how Beat COVID came into being, our COVID response campaign, Долаємо COVID-19. As you can see, these are some examples from the out-of-home communication part of this campaign. It had a very clear and emotional message, yes, допомагає. It was showing real beneficiaries of our projects, and it was highlighting all the different support areas ranging from health to business, and also to support to vulnerable groups, like, for example, women who were suffering from domestic violence more during the lockdown. Oh, sorry. Now I would like to show you a video. How do I put this on? Okay. You will probably be able to see this then in the recording, but here I wanted to show you a video of the of a TV reel that we were fantastic. So this was one of the real TV spots that we were running on national and also regional TV to show EU support. In this case, we had filmed the arrival of a WHO plane, which was full with personal protective equipment for Ukrainian doctors and nurses, and which was funded by the EU. Digital was another key area for us. Here we supported the video production also by running digital clips. We had banners promoted on the internet. We established the Долаємо COVID-19 hashtag. And we also produced enhanced content around the EU-Ukraine summit in October, which was an important political date and an important opportunity to show solidarity and to move to the recovery phase of the campaign. And another important thing that we did was that we branded the EU ambassador to Ukraine as the Beat COVID-19 brand ambassador, which meant that he was recording regularly personal messages where he was explaining the Ukrainian citizens what exactly the EU was doing and how it was going to help them. And this was also meant to compensate for his absence in the regions, which would not normally have been the case, and also to compensate for the lack of real-life events. Here's some more example of the video reels that our contractor produced, all of them with real beneficiaries of EU projects. Here's an example of an Instagram quiz that we did ahead of the summit to turn the attention to support that we provided to Eastern Ukraine, which had to deal with the conflict and the pandemic as a double burden and is still dealing with that. And here are some examples of the ambassador videos, which we then also continued for other policy areas, like, for example, support to gender equality or to human rights. We also had some special projects with media partners, like, for example, Ukrainska Pravda, where we highlighted EU support to the cultural sector, Ekonomiczna Pravda, where we highlighted EU support to small businesses, and on Ostro, which is a portal where we were already running our conflict response campaign, and where we also used the space to highlight our COVID response on top. Then in November, to sort of continue with the recovery after the quarantine and the summer, we ran the European SME Week online for the first time. It consisted of 24 activities in 20 days. We engaged media partners such as Liga and Dia Business, and we launched the EU for Business portal, which was first a one-stop shop for the EU SME Week and is now a one-stop shop for Ukrainian small businesses which seek finance access or capacity building from the EU. The key results were quite encouraging. They outperformed the plan in many instances, for example, TV and digital. This was due to the increased consumption of these media, but also out-of-home advertisement remained quite important, and was also important for us to have it out there during the campaign, so that also after quarantine and summer, people were still receiving this message of EU support. And radio also kept providing an opportunity for regular and frequent contact. In terms of impact, we saw that in the research commissioned by our contractor already during the first phase of communication, the awareness of the fact that the EU is allocating specific money to help Ukraine overcome COVID jumped from 42.5% to 53.1%. And then also omnibus research conducted by the Kyiv Institute, Kyiv International Institute of Sociology, on behalf of our contractor showed first of all, an overwhelming positive attitude towards the European Union, and then also over 50% awareness of the EU's COVID response. Now, these two methodologies are different and they cannot be compared, but both of them are showing that awareness of EU support and confidence in the EU were on good levels after this campaign, which was not something to be necessarily expected in this crisis situation. Now, the challenges and the way forward. Of course, the challenges are first of all the pandemic as such, because it's very volatile. We don't know what will happen next, which mutation will come next. Then also the fact that there's a lot of disinformation around it. I think that was discussed today a lot in very fascinating discussions, and also the fact that there's a certain COVID fatigue and people are tired of hearing about infection rates and measures and masks. What are our lessons learned? First of all, that it is important to have a strong brand if one wants to deal with a crisis in terms of communications, and it's important to also be flexible with regard to this brand. And then also in more operational terms, with regard to content, I think we have learned that more interactive and more personal content on TV, but also notably digitally, will be just growing in importance in this new normal, and also that hybrid formats like this very event will remain with us for some time. Thanks a lot. This is my contact in case you have any question, and enjoy the rest of the event.